Alright guys, whew, unfortunately it did not fix, okay? You can see we got it nice and high. I'm updating you guys, we're crossing it off, okay? Let me actually cross it off. I've been shooting a shit ton. I did the loading nozzle as well, okay? These are the shims, they're .20 each. This was easy. It was easy getting this guy on. The next thing I wanted to check is okay, actually, let's step back a little bit. I want to, so I can make it so you guys look. When I'm applying to this, guys, you guys can apply it to all of your guns, all your mags. You want to make sure this gasket is nice and tight to your loading nozzle, to your whole setup, okay? And look, once you start mixing a lot of different companies, you might have some issues. You might notice, hey man, my Wii mag works better than my TM, or my TM mag works better than my Wii. Okay, well here's what you can do. You can take that gasket that works better, put it in the one that doesn't work as well. If it works better and you take a look at the gasket, you're like, oh, maybe shit, it's maybe I'm running the curved window and that curved gasket is giving me better results. So now you have two options. You can either get all TM mags, or you can try to get those gaskets and put them in all your Wii mags. So it's about trying to understand how everything functions. So looking at the magazine as a whole, we have two important areas that we need to target. We have the gasket and we have the valve. We got to make sure this guy is nice and smooth. I can't tell you guys how many people would send me their mag and say, hey, doesn't work, or this mag sucks, it never, the power's off. These guys, and I always tell them before they send it to me, but some people just want to send it anyways. I say, clean this guy. Make sure when you push this guy, he's nice and smooth, all right? Nice and smooth. You don't want any friction, okay? You shouldn't feel anything. If you push it and he's sticky, clean him, okay? It will save your mag. It'll fix it. Make sure that all the O-rings are safe on there and they're clean and not damaged. So re-lube everything, okay? Got it? So gasket, same principle. Make sure your gasket doesn't have any cuts in it or anything, right? So we've gotten that cleared. The next thing I had to check was the loading nozzle, okay? You want to make sure this loading nozzle doesn't, some loading nozzles have a lot of flash and grit on it and shit that just didn't get cut off from the, most of these are injection molded, okay guys? So they'll have a lot of flash. Make sure that you polish that off, okay? Don't remove as much material as possible because polishing is still removing, but you want to make sure nice and slow, wet sand, whatever you guys got available. Just, you want to get to the point where you'd be okay if that loading nozzle was on your skin, okay? You don't want to feel anything rough that's going to chew your thing. Another trick that, guys, I will do is whenever I do this, and I want to make sure it's not going to obliterate it, is I'll just douse this sucker. I'll make it wet, right? I'll make it very wet. And then I'll put it into the gun, right? And I'll put it, the slide will be on it, and I'll just put it in and I'll see, and you'll see it's gonna make an imprint. Okay, well let me just do it for you guys quick. Okay, I'll put it right there. You push it a couple times, okay, and you'll notice. Remember how it was completely wet? Now we got some areas that's not completely wet, right? Just check the loading nozzle. The loading nozzle was dry, right? Well, look at that. What do you know? We got some wetness on here, okay? So I'm looking at it. Next thing you can do is you would just wipe it off again, right? Make sure it's dry. Because you don't want to shoot it off the bat, guys. You don't do that when you shim your stuff. Rack it a couple times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just a couple times, okay? Get the mag out. Okay, look at that. See, we have a, looks like a nice seal. We have it's hard to see, and I think it's hard to see in the light. We have a nice little, okay, well now I wiped it off, but like a nice little box where I'm like, okay, we're doing okay. And I test it, and after a couple, 10 shots, 15 shots, you want to take it out and look at it. Is it my shit getting chewed? And it's not. So it's doing okay, so work on these two, okay? Unfortunately, did not fix it, okay? I was hoping, I was praying, but you know how their soft gods work, okay? Here's the next thing and why I'm making this video. I think the biggest reason, and I'll tell you guys what I'm going to tackle next. I would like to talk, if you know anyone that has a GHK. But please, listen. I have certain rules because you guys know me. I'm kind of picky, and I know I'm asking a lot. But to be honest, I don't think I'm going to get anybody. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get anybody. To be honest, especially with my questions. Okay, if you know someone that has a GHK and you can personally talk to them, it'd be great. If you own a GHK, great. So that's the first set of rules I'd like. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not an oddball out. The problem is this is a new platform for me, and this is the only GHK I have. I did pre-order the GHK Gen 5, but I don't know when that's coming. I have absolutely no clue. I don't know when it's coming. Okay, so I'm focused on this guy because right now he works and everything. I just don't like the FPS discrepancy. I don't want to go from 300 to 230. To me, that's stupid. It's insane. Okay. We'll talk about that problem later. Okay, so 1, you own a GHK Gen 3 Glock yourself, or 2, you know someone that owns it and you can personally talk to them. I understand that not everyone is going to have HPA tapped, but I would prefer if you had HPA tapped. Okay, I would like to see, or if I can trust the words, but I know no one's going to make a video because that's why I know this is kind of bullshit. I don't think I'm going to get anyone. That's okay. I'll ask on Instagram and Facebook. But I would like to see if you can at least test with Green Mag and give me, or at least tell me, hey, just try to get a good chrono that's not broken or janky or whatever. Like, as long as it's a working chrono, and it's consistent data. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. If I can get a spread of 10 shots, the highest to the lowest, that's all I'm looking for. I'd like to make sure I'm not alone. And if I find that everyone else has this problem, I'm just, at least for me, I'd like to know I'm not crazy, okay? And I just didn't get, unfortunately, I got a shitty one. And, maybe GHK has a good design that works, but I just got a shitty one. I want to verify that. That's all I'm looking. I don't need any extra information. So if you know anyone that owns it and can actually chrono it, and not just say, oh, I chronoed it a year ago. Just actual chrono, 10 shots, or they can do the whole mag. I don't care. Nice and slow. Pause between it, because I know most of you guys will have green gas. You're not going to have... it'd be crazy if the HPA tapped this thing. This is milsim-ish kind of stuff, so they're not going to be running hoses, okay? If you are, beautiful. I love that. Just put it at 120 PSI. Look, if you have a hose, HPA, and you're one of the crazy people, 120 PSI would be great, please, thank you. And just shoot as many as you can. If you can shoot 10, 15, 20, thank you. I'm just looking for that information. I want to see what's the high and the low is, and then the spread. That's all I'm looking for. I think the majority of people have green gas just the same, but just make sure you please pause between your shots. Go, shoot, 2 seconds, 3, whatever you need to. Pause. Don't go shoot fast, okay? It is a heavy slide. It's a steel slide. It's, propane, green gas, whatever it is. That's okay. I don't care about the power source unless you got HPA. That, to me, will just be more consistent. I prefer that, because it is the most consistent platform to really diagnose a problem with the gun. Green gas, everything else is, is a hard time. Okay? So thank you. If you can help me with that, wonderful. If not, no worries, guys. I don't expect that one to work out. I don't. 350 for this guy sucks. Okay, I wouldn't do the same thing too. The only reason I really bought it is because I was interested in the design. I thought. Now I'm rethinking things. Unfortunately, after looking at the hammer system, but it's just a striker fire system. And it is what it is, okay? What's confusing about this, guys, and it's been fun. All right, look. Don't think I am definitely not done. I'm determined to get this sucker to do what I want it to do. Right? I'm determined. All right. I'm gonna tackle this guy and beat this guy to the pulp until he does it. Hopefully. But I don't know if I'm smart enough. That's the biggest problem. So what's very weird about this is when shooting, I've been shooting this a shit ton. So my compressor is mobile. Ever since I got it tapped, I am so happy, okay? I've been dragging that sucker outside. I'm like, just shooting. My neighbors probably hate me today. They probably hate me for the last couple of days because I've been shooting a shit ton. The felt recoil, and I think this is giving me information about the loading nozzle. So I took apart the loading nozzle on Instagram. I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, all right, guys? I can't film all of it. It's just too much. I'm having too much fun taking this apart and dissecting it. Maybe it's because I'm new to it, but the AEP high kappa, and I always tell you guys, you can hear it, you can see it, and you can feel it. You can feel when the hammer isn't striking it and it's inconsistent and it's having trouble. You can see it in high kappas. You can see it in Glocks. You can say, okay, there had a guy sent me a picture of his gun, a video of his gun, and say, hey, something's wrong with my gun. It's not working. And I hear it and I say, hey, check your loading nozzle. And then, 10 minutes later, he takes it apart and, oh, shit, my loading nozzle break. You know what I mean? That's the kind of shit I can hear that sometimes. And you can also just, once you've worked on enough, you can start taking educated guesses and say, hey, check your loading nozzle. For whatever reason, this sucker, it's just the felt recoil seems consistent. The sound is consistent. It locks back every shot. It's extremely weird. And that's why I think it's giving me information. I think I might target the loading nozzle. But to keep it simple, guys, you have, keep it simple. Like this is rocket valve, right? And then you have a spring in front of it, and then you usually have something blocking it. Okay, I don't have anything on hand to show you guys, but anyways, I'll keep it simple. You got the gas that goes in here. It's going in two directions basically, and what it's doing is it's shooting the BB out and it's pushing the slide back, and it's doing all this at insane speeds. Okay, so in my head I'm thinking, well, shit. I'm the one thing next I might tackle is the rocket valve and the spring. In this loading nozzle, if you check out my Instagram, I took it apart. It has 5 freaking O-rings. 4 pins to take it apart. So this loading nozzle is somewhat complex, okay? It's not your typical loading nozzle. Okay, I mean most standard loading nozzles, these guys, either a top screw or a side pin. That's it. And then rocket valve and spring. That is it. This sucker is just way more complex, and it's if you've ever shot gas blowback rifles or SMGs, this is where it's designed. If you're familiar with GHK, this is it's along the veins of their products, and I've worked with a lot of their products. So it's just it's a much more complex system. So I might target the spring and the rocket valve. So I might try to 3D print something to work on that. So that's something I'm going to tackle. And where the loading nozzle sits in here, it's rough, guys. I can feel it with my finger. I put my finger in there, and it's just, there's ridges in there. And I don't want that. I want this to be smooth on the inside, but I have to be careful. So I've got to make that design something that has like gears on it that will move and it will spin, and I can put it in an L bracket. So I can put a kind of like something on here, and I can just spin it. Okay, so I've got a lot of work to do. And guys, remember, at the end of the day, this thing works. It's just not to my liking. Does that make sense? Like it shoots, it works. I can shoot all my targets in the backyard 10, 15, 20, 30 feet. The occasional flyer and the occasional drop is annoying. I don't want that shit. You guys saw the TM, you seen the AAP, you seen the high cap. We have a very low spread. It's under 10. Okay, this one is freaking huge. It goes from 300 to freaking 230. To me, that's not acceptable. But for cross training, they don't give a shit about that. Okay, the reality is you need the felt recoil, and they're shooting close. Okay, so it's not going to be as noticeable. I want to be able to shoot this sucker at 50 feet, 75 feet. Okay, I'm not really engaged in 75 feet, but 50 feet is where I'd like to engage. Okay, that's what I want. 75 feet, okay, I'll push it sometimes that far, but you know, I would upgrade the inner barrel and buck. Bucking, I actually like bucking. Bucking seems pretty nice. Inner barrel, I'd definitely upgrade that sucker. This is cheaper little aluminum one, okay? Alright, so you guys saw my thoughts on the learning nozzle. I think we have an issue with the front side where it's directing the power. Maybe we're getting discrepancy. There's too much variables here. The next area I think that is a problem is this guy right here. Okay? I mean, but look how cool this is. I mean, look how cool this is. This is insane. Okay? Okay, so this spring right here, guys, is for the trigger bar. So don't worry about this spring. This is what hooks onto right here. You guys see? See that little hole? That's how it hooks. It's pretty easy to install. It's self-contained. When you take it out, you can't lose anything. Right? It is all contained in here. It's pretty nifty. Like, it's kind of cool that it's all contained in here. So that's the trigger bar. You can see it's very different from Gen 3 stock TM. Okay, very different from 18s as well. It is thin like the 17, not thick like the 18. Okay. And I mean, you can see this is all built into the frame, just like the reals do. Damn. So the biggest thing I noticed, guys, from here is we have, first of all, we have one spring right here. Okay, I know it's gonna be hard to see, but there's a spring here. I can zoom in for you guys, but it'll be dark. This one I don't know how to fix. Yeah, that should be enough for you guys. So I'm already thinking, can I strengthen this spring? Can I get a stronger one? Okay. The next thing I have an issue with is, and maybe it's not an issue, but it's something I'm always thinking about. I'm always trying to think about everything possible. This guy right here, the valve knocker or firing pin, I can move him left to right easily. Okay, you guys see that? It's actually, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at the camera and keep it out of the shadow is really hard actually. But this part is just so easy to move. There's a lot of play in here. And in my head, I don't want something that I can move that easy. So I'm wondering if maybe this is causing inconsistency. But I'm not gonna lie, I think my biggest priority right now is get the upper done. So once I get the upper done, I'm gonna tackle the lower. Okay, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm already thinking in my head, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part, I'm going to copy it into SolidWorks, and I'm going to see, because I can 3D print metal. Metals, I can 3D print metal. I can't do it myself, but I just send it to Shapeways. So I've actually done 3D printed metal stuff back, and I did that like 10 years ago. Okay, I've actually 3D printed. I've 3D printed a whole high kappa internals in metal. I've done I did a TDC hop up unit in metal. So I've worked with a lot with 3D printing metal. So hopefully it's better now. I bet it's better, because that shit was, it was expensive, and the tolerances were all right, whatever, but it was fine. But so my goal is to probably copy into 3D print, and I want to beef it up. That's my main goal is right now. I want to beef up the striker. I don't want this to move. So I'm thinking I have a lot of room to work with. You guys see how much room I have? I can stick this guy in here, no problem. So I'm thinking I can beef him up so he doesn't go left or right. I want to remove that ability to do it, okay? The only problem is now I'm adding more weight, right? But that's why I told you guys I'm already thinking about increasing the strength of this spring. So these are things I'm looking at. Can I copy this and just beef it up and make this work for what I want to work? Because I want to get rid of this 30-40 spread, but I think that's actually, if I had to be honest, I think it's going to be, I'll figure that out in here. They have, I was looking on it. Let me show you guys. On Sam Moon, they had stuff about it. Let me see. Let me show you Sam Moon. So I don't know if I might want to try it. But that's why I also want to know, guys. I want to make sure I'm not crazy. What if I'm just an odd one out and you guys are, and everyone gives me good results, and they say, hey man, Knuckles, your shit just, you know, the shit on yours sucks. You know, it could be that. Okay. I could have sworn I saw it, like an impasse. And maybe if they change the design of the rocket valve, maybe it's better. Maybe it's more consistent. Right here. They have an impasse. Let me see what the design looks like. Damn, do they not show what it looks like? Okay, look, we have the gray one coming in, so maybe, look, when the gray one comes in, maybe that's when maybe I'll stop here and I'll work on it. Like, what is, this is, yeah, okay. RA Tech I think RA Tech was the first one to come up with it, but this is how you would probably adjust it. But they don't, damn, I want to see what the impasse looks like. Cause I don't know. I'm thinking we have if I had to think about it right now, cause I'm trying to rack my brain about it. Yeah, you guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought there was 5 pins. I'm sorry, maybe it's 4 pins and but 5 O-rings. Oh, the one in there. Yeah, so it is 5 pin. Okay, we're good. 5, 5. But check that out. I mean, look at that. It's really long and it's a small diameter, but it's just the power behind it is insane. The felt recoil. Okay. All right. So, look, that's my plan of attack. I think I'm going to be focusing on. Really, now I have. The funny thing is, I'm adding to the list. I think we have a loading nozzle problem, so I'll just put load, LN. I think I'd probably put loading nozzle to second, blowback unit to third, striker to fourth. This, I could be crazy. The reality is, guys, look, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a gunsmith. I'm none of these guys. I'm just some idiot. I'm not even trained in this field, okay, guys? That's what I'm telling you guys. I'm not smart at all, and this is me just smashing my head against the wall and just trying to do stuff, okay? It takes me forever to even try to do this stuff, okay? I am not at all, so don't get it twisted, okay? I know what I'm doing here. Right now, this is a new platform, and I'm learning as much as I can about it right now. In my head, I don't want this having as much movement as it does, okay? I'm thinking about all my high capitals and all my Glocks, and I know there's different system, but the reality is, guys, it's an important part, right? This is responsible for striking your magazine valve, right? This doesn't move left to right. This doesn't move left to right as much. You want it nice and tight, no friction. The valve knocker, the most important part in here, okay? That is what strikes your, right here, your magazine valve. This doesn't move left to right, okay? It is staying in that window and it's just hitting it. It's hitting it. Can it move up and down yet? Because when you put your mag in here, right, and then you reset it, and then you hit the valve reset or barn pin reset, it pops back up, it's seated in its position and it's ready to attack. It's just weird in my head that I can move this. Okay, let me push this forward. I can move this a good amount. Left and right, I can move this. I don't want that. Look at that. Look at that top down. Let me show you guys when it's flush. When it's flush, it pushes against this wall. Okay, so I don't know if like as a whole, when you put the trigger in there, it locks it in place. But it's just, I don't know. It's not something I want, and it's something I'm trying to figure out. It's not at the top of the list. But that's another thing. I'm going to look at the trigger, because the trigger is pretty unique. Okay, there's a spring in here. There's a spring in this trigger. It's a very unique system, and I'm trying to figure it out. And that's that's part of me learning this. Okay, and I'm taking you on these small journey, because you guys are you're here for a small part. If there's anything you guys can take and learn from this, and if it helps you, great. And that's the whole point. Okay, I think I've talked and taken up enough of your time, guys. I have a lot of work to do. Okay, I'm probably going to take apart the loading nozzle again, and I'm probably going to see if I can just 3D print some stupid rocket valve ideas to get more consistent. My goal right now, guys, is to bring the spread down. I want it to be consistent. I don't even care at this point if you're shooting 260 at 120 psi. I don't care if we're shooting at 260 at 120 psi. I would like it to be just like 260, 268, 250, 250. I want it to be a small spread. I don't want to see 300 to 230. Okay, I had to spread that freaking huge, all right? That's a 70. It's insane, all right? I wish you guys would have seen it. I was in my head like, the fuck? And this is after, guys. This is after I did this. And then like I changed the PSI, played around, then we got like a smaller spread. At 90 PSI, we got like 20. But it's still a big ass spread. And as much as I shit on the 17 and 18 style, they created something wonderful, and I will always love that, guys. So don't get it twisted, guys. When I talk shit, I'm not. That's I don't want to see. Well, okay. The problem is, you guys, if you don't know me as a whole, it'll be hard for you guys to understand. And I know I use the word like, oh, I hate and everything, but I hope you guys tell like I'm joking. The reality is, I love these companies because they've created something fun for us, and they've created something consistent. Now, can it be better? Yes, of course, and that's just hard. That's that takes brains, and I know I don't even have brains for that. So I understand, but like they've created something that's consistent. Having an 8 spread on HPA, that's nice, man. Under 10, that's really nice. Under 15, okay. 20, okay. You're good, but 40. 50, 60, 70, shit, get out of here. All right, get out of here, go home. But I don't think they were targeting this for skirmishes, so it's weird. But once again, what if I have an oddball? And that's why I asked in the beginning of the video. I was like, if you got GHKs, let me know. Can you please quickly test your FPS? Because man, I can't tell with the felt recoil. It's weird. It's really weird to know that on the chrono I am shooting 300, and sometimes I'm shooting 230, and I can't feel it. I can't feel that shit. And I'm letting it lock back, guys. I'm letting this sucker lock back. Surprisingly, nothing on here. I mean, this shit is good. Piece of my hair, but this shit is good here. Okay, it is beefy. Right? So thank you guys. I will update in the future, but you guys see how I think remember, guys, I'm not the smartest. I'm not trained in this world. I have to beat my head against the wall. These are going to take me some time to do. Okay, and there's a lot of other stuff I'm going to review. So I think for now, I've tackled him enough. I've shot him enough. I have the idea of the road I want to go. I'm going to work on the loading nozzle. I think there's a problem with the loading nozzle, because in my head, I'm like, that's giving me information. The felt recoil is the same. The power feels the same, but my FPS is all over the place. So we got a divergent problem that's just putting into two. Let me work on the left side. Okay, so I'm working on that. And then I'm going to polish the blowback unit. So I got to figure out some creative way to freaking do this. I'll 3D print something probably. I feel like that's the easiest route. I don't know. I miss my dad. I feel like if my dad was here, be able. He's pretty creative too, and he probably could make something out of wood to do that fast. Damn. All right. I'm sorry. Gotta get a little emotional. All right. Bye bye.